or dislike the last chapter. Do you think Sam made the right decision to give up Max? Why or why not? Is his decision a selfish one or a selfless one? What other options did he have?
I think the last chapter is my favorite of the book because sometimes the book got a little boring and predictable, and I enjoyed learning that Sam had a future. And I think his decision was selfless because he wanted the best for Max. He knew he couldn't give him everything. And at the end of chapter 23 on page 201, Sam's holding him and he said, "I looked up at the ceiling at the stars. Mom is stuck up there for my birthday. I hoped Max's mom would think of stuff like that." So he just wanted what was best for Max for this.
I also like this last chapter, but if I was gonna change anything, I kind of wish there would have been like more information on like what happened right after Sam gave him up and like how Sam's life turned out. It's like just kind of leaves me wondering like, did he go to college? And like, I mean, you can kind of assume he did because he has a pretty good job. And I also think it was a selfless decision, but an example of like how it kind of could have been a little selfish is like on page 198, he was kind of just blabbering on about like all the things he wouldn't have been able to do if he kept Max, and he goes, "And it's not about me going to college or getting married, but I would never get married and I could never have another kid." So like that's like the only selfish part I could find of it, but overall I think it was selfless.
Yeah, I agree with Colin. Like the fact that I wish there was more information in the last chapter. I didn't like the last chapter just because there was no information. Like I wish we would have found out what happened to like Claire and Emily and Andy, and there was like none of that. So it kind of leaves you like wondering, and then like what happened to Max. So that's like why I didn't like it.
I really liked it. I liked that we like got the reassurance that Max grew up and seemed to be like a good, healthy kid. And back to like if it was a selfish or a selfless decision, I think it was selfless, but he had a lot of selfish benefits. Like he got to go back probably to his normal like high school life and hang out with like Andy and all of his friends. And he probably got to go to college because on page 202 it says that he was a coder, and I'm pretty sure that like you have to go to college to get a job like that. And it just seemed like he benefited a lot and like got a new family, and he has like his daughters and his dad and him seem to be close because it said like she was bringing the kids to his dad's house, so it just seemed like he had a lot of like selfish benefits, but I think that in the end it was a selfless decision.
I also like the last chapter. Like, I don't like ending books, I guess, on sad endings, so I'm glad that the last chapter was like kind of happy, and that like you got to see that everything worked out all right for Max and Sam. And I also think it was selfless and had some like selfish benefits, like you said, because like he would have been helped, or he probably had a lot better life. Sam did once he got rid of Max, just like to hang out with his friends and just be like a normal teenager, and then Max had everything like he could from like a new family that like treated him right.
I guess I kind of had mixed emotions about the last chapter because we never get to learn about like what happened to Claire. We have no idea, or if he went back to the high school, what that was like, or if people said anything about him. Or I mean, we don't really know anything about Max other than he like was driving a car that Sam approved of. So I guess it just leaves a lot of things unanswered. But I did like that we kind of got to see how Sam's life turned out now that he didn't have to have Max.
One thing that really kind of made me like this chapter more was the fact that at the end, like, Sam got to go fishing with Max, and like earlier in the book, like we got that insight that back when Sam's mom was alive, like he and his dad used to go on fishing trips, and they were like super happy. So it makes me kind of feel like now that he's going fishing with Sam or with Max, that like maybe they'll have that relationship like Sam did with his dad when his mom was still alive. So like hopefully they'll still have that good relationship.
What other options did you guys think that Sam could have had making a decision?
I think if he, I mean, I don't know, there's many ways he could have gone about it. Like, if he wanted to keep Max, I feel like there's other options, like online college, and I don't know, there's other ways. So I think that would be, like, if he ended up keeping Max, I feel like that would be one of the ways he could have gone about it, is online college and working from home.
I mean, if you really wanted to like be able to see Max and stuff, it's like an alternate option. So you still like pictures and letters and stuff to see and stuff. Otherwise, I mean, I'm sure Archie would have been taking time to see him, so or taking care of him and stuff.
I mean, or he could have also done like what his dad and he had planned on, like him just going to work in construction.
For me, I just don't think he really, I know he like loved Max, but I just don't think he wanted Max and he wasn't like ready for him. So no matter if he would have like been able to go to college or not, I still don't think that he would have kept Max, just because I don't think he felt like he was ready for him.
I was kind of surprised by the fact that Sam did do a closed adoption, what it looks like, because that was the first time he heard from Sam in 18 years, or Max in 18 years. And I don't know, I thought since he'd already had him for a while that he might do an open adoption so he'd still get updates and stuff. But I'm sure that'd probably be really hard. So I kind of wonder why he chose for it to be closed.
I mean, sometimes that's the parents that like adopt the kid too. Like that's usually their say, and like once they allow Max to reach out and find his real father, so like that could have been part of it too.
Do you guys still think that Claire and or Emily and Max still talk?
No, I think that because of the short last chapter, I think it was meant to emphasize the big things in Sam's life, like Max coming back, and then his two kids, and his wife and his dad. I think those are or that was part of the emphasis of the last chapter being so short, just to put emphasis on the people that are still in his life and that it had an impact on his life.
And I think just like the way that Claire and Sam's relationship ended, like she was really upset over the fact that he was giving Max up for adoption, and it just seemed like she like didn't really have any interest in being with him anymore, and he was probably gonna go back to his old school if he didn't have a kid, so I don't know why they really would see each other at all. So I just kind of got the feeling that they were not involved with each other's lives anymore.
Well, I feel like, I mean, it was his senior year, so I feel like I didn't have that long left to go because they were in school. I don't think he would like switch school halfway through the school year just because he didn't have a kid anymore. So I think they may have saw each other for like the rest of the school year, but then after that, not again. I don't think they saw each other again.
I feel like there was definitely like the possibility for him to like transfer back to like his old school, just cause like he was in an alternative program at that other school, and like so once Max wasn't like with him anymore, I feel like there's definitely the possibility that he could go back and just like live a normal life.
Yeah, I feel it is a possibility. I was just saying that he only had a few months left in high school, so
Yeah.
I think he may have just stayed and.
I kind of wish we would have got to see what happened to Claire and Emily, because then it kind of would have been like, what would have maybe happened if Sam would have kept Max? And I wish that they would have maybe said something, just because we see that everything worked out with Sam, but like maybe everything worked out with Claire and Emily, which was a different situation, but it still would have been cool to see that, like if the teen parent that he grew up with was successful in it.
I think it would have been kind of cool if like on their fishing trip, if they like had Claire and Emily go with them too, and it could have kind of been like them like reforming the bond or something.
Do you guys think that Claire ever got married to anyone as she like got older?
I think she probably found someone because she was good at like flirting and stuff, so she could probably find a boyfriend. And I don't know. She seemed like she was. I don't know. She was all over Sam.
Food.
Yeah.
Or she at least was like a likable person.
Yeah,
like
she was
she
a
knew
nice
how to like
person.
relate to his dad and just like anyone she kind of met.
you guys think that Sam's dad handled like Sam putting Max up for adoption?
I think that he handled it really well. Like, there's just not really a lot that he could have said or done. Like, that's a big decision, and I think that just how, like, calm he was, and that he wasn't really questioning Sam's choice was just, like, I don't know. Like, it was, like, he was supporting him, but not being, like, overly pushy. Like, oh, yeah, like, it's good that you're doing this, or, like, not, like, questioning it too much. He, like, knew that it's what he needed to do, and he was just, like, trying to, like, help him, but in, like, a not, like, I don't know, not a overly, like,
Push it.
yeah.
And it's like at the last chapter, it sounds like they have, like, Sam and his dad have a, like, decently good relationship now. Cause like on page 203, Sarah, Sam's wife, was like, I'm taking the girls over to your dad's. Okay, I say. He said something about trying your old waiters on Abby. I laugh and look up into her face, remind him that she's only 5. So like I think they have a pretty good relationship now with like him and his new family. So I think it was actually like good for their relationship that he put Max up for adoption.
I agree. It seems like Sam's dad kind of started to be there for him after he decided that, and he held him and hugged him as he was trying, and I think that was Sam's dad realizing like, oh, I need to be here for my son, and this is really hard, so I think their relationship probably got better from there.
I feel like his dad was probably like jumping for joy on the inside, but like didn't want to show it. So like you were saying, he's kind of just like, oh yeah, okay, and like trying to be supportive. But he was probably pretty happy because the whole book he was pretty mad at Sam. And like Anjali said, like you can't punish him forever, but like now he can't punish him because the kid will be gone. So
Yeah, I think it's kind of sad that like he didn't start really supporting him until
yeah.
he decided to give Max up for adoption.
I think he just kind of realized like how difficult the decision was for Sam, because like when Sam told his dad, like he just broke down crying, and like his dad just understood in that moment like how much he loved Max, but how much Sam really needed to have a life without him.
So does anybody have anything else to say? Last thoughts? Brandon, you got anything? Anyway. Alright, you guys want to move?